Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. So, obviously, a series of dramatic events in the ongoing war between the Russian Federation and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and Ukraine. Changed it up a little bit this time. My announcement was not the war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine, but the Russian Federation and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So why am I saying that? Well, that's exactly what it is. That is exactly what we are seeing happen right now. Is it a all-out Third World War? No, not yet. Are we heading in that direction? Absolutely. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt. The Ukrainian offensive, backed by Western powers, with an infusion of various Western armored vehicles, intelligence, other systems, that offensive, the Kyiv offensive, failed. Its objectives were the seizure of Tokmak, and the eventual deployment further south towards Melitopol, and then ultimately severing the land corridor between Russia proper and Russia proper in the Crimea. Now, obviously that offensive failed. What was to be a two-pronged offensive south of Kyiv and in this direction from Staromayorsky, that operation has, again, failed. So Plan B was instituted. This is to create a narrative, again, that the Russian Federation is losing the war. And this was a PR stunt. Make no mistake about it. The attack against Russian forces in Sevastopol was a North Atlantic Treaty Organization PR stunt led by the Storm Shadow. This stealthy cruise missile is obviously proving its worth. It shattered the building that housed the headquarters of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. Not only that, this weapon system attacked command and control bunkers with its Broach warhead. And the Ukrainians, at least, are reporting the Ukrainian Secret Service, while not blackmailing Joseph Biden and his crackhead son, Hunter Biden, are trying to obtain intelligence in terms of what happened during this strike. And they are saying that at least several high-ranking Russian leadership figures were killed or injured in this Storm Shadow missile strike on Sevastopol. So what is going to be the Russian response? Well, the Russian response has already started. Now, you are not going to receive reports from the Ukrainian military about targets hit by the Russians. The Ukrainians don't do that. The only targets that the Ukrainians will report on is if there is an errant strike and civilians are killed. Outside of that, there is absolutely zero reporting about ongoing Russian strikes in Ukraine, be it Western Ukraine, Eastern Ukraine. It's not happening. Now the question is will the Russians retaliate outside of Ukraine? The attack on Sevastopol was something that alone the Ukrainians could not do. The Storm Shadow is a United Kingdom weapon system. It is a British weapon of war, a very advanced British weapon of war that was developed by multiple nation states, including France and the United Kingdom. It is a EU weapon system originally. But as we see what is happening in conjunction with electronic warfare and jamming elements, they were able to strike Sevastopol. Again, this attack against the Russian headquarters of the Black Sea Fleet was more than just Storm Shadow missiles. You have intelligence, you have real-time intelligence that is being obtained by, in all probability, U.S. assets. Then you have real-time targeting information, jamming, electronic warfare, all went into this attack. And I guarantee you it was not just a Ukrainian operation. The target, the aim point of those Storm Shadows was, in all probability, programmed somewhere in the EU. Any Storm Shadow that is used against a Russian target is approved before that weapon system is used. Make no mistake, the Ukrainians do not have complete control over those Storm Shadows. Every single Storm Shadow that is launched against a Russian target has to go through an aim point approval process. And again, because of what has happened in the Zaporizhzhia sector, the failure of that Ukrainian offensive has led to this multi-day strike by NATO forces against Russian forces in the Crimea. It is a response to a failed operation. If that operation in Zaporizhzhia by the Ukrainians were to have been successful, and we would have seen a breakthrough towards Tokmak and the Ukrainians threatened Melitopol, we would not have seen that Storm Shadow strike against Sevastopol. It would not have happened. That was Plan B. Now, what happens next? It's difficult to say. Obviously, the Russians are going to respond. Will we hear about that response? If it is a target in Ukraine, probably not. We may or may not. But I fear that we are growing closer and closer to a Russian response outside of the Ukrainian theater of operations. That's just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. But that's where I see this heading. Well, it was great talking to you today. We will have more very, very soon. We will continue to cover the ongoing war between NATO and the Russian Federation, Ukraine, Russian Federation. More to come very, very soon. Stay with us. As always, have a good day.